Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and today we have two phenomenal filmmakers. I know this because I've seen their movie, but we got Hunter Groves and Chris Langford. How you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Good.
How are you?
All right, all right. Uh, so before we kind of get into everything that's going on right now, kind of take us back a little bit. And like when you were younger, was movies the thing that really is that what you guys really wanted to do, or was it along the lines of something you kind of fell into?
I'll let Hunter lead off with.
Yeah. So me personally, I've always wanted to be in movies. It started with first time I saw Nightmare Before Christmas, and saw all the stop motion. I was like, I want to figure out how to do that. So I got my start in stop motion, which eventually became special effects, and then now I've directed my first thing with Tomahawk Holler.
Yeah. And myself, I've always really been into movies and storytelling. I like all different kinds of genres. Horror has always kind of been a special spot for me. I like I kind of grew up. I'm a little bit older than Hunter there, so I kind of grew up in that kind of like heyday of you had all the all the Friday the 13th movies, all the the earlier ones rather, and all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and all the Halloweens were like always on rerun on TV. So you got to watch all that stuff and then getting to see the newer ones come out in theater, things like that. So I've always been into those and mob films. I love mafia and mob films. So
Oh yeah. Uh, I'm guilty of loving mob films too. My favorite being Goodfellas. So,
yeah, yeah, that's my favorite as well. That one and a Bronx Tale.
oh yeah,
I love
that's
both of those.
a Bronx Tale underrated, very underrated. Like I don't think
Very
it gets
underrated.
enough credit.
I totally agree.
Uh, so Hunter, kind of going from the stop motion to making your feature film. Kind of walk us through that journey that you took to want to kind of make that leap from point A to point B.
So it's actually a really funny story. I had just gotten off of a gig called Blood Money. It's a short film, and I had all this leftover blood uh, from the shoot, and we didn't use it all. And I was like, man, this is kind of a shame to waste all this. It was a pretty decent amount. So I talked to Chris, and then our friend Dylan Anglin, who's also a filmmaker here. He's doing Rocky Wake. Um, I was like, hey, I want to use this blood. Let's write something real quick and you know use it. And it eventually evolved into we're gonna make this not like this one-off thing. Let's actually delve into this and actually make something worth watching. And Chris wrote Tomahawk Holler, the short, and from there it's history. We both really love slashers. Friday the 13th was a huge inspiration from it for it, um, just because I'm a huge Jason fan. And Chris, where we filmed the short, it's very reminiscent of Camp Crystal Lake. Very rural, very isolated, and that's what we used for the killing grounds for our killer.
Uh, and Chris, kind of walk us through the mindset of like how'd you come up with the specific characters, and I don't want to ruin it for the people who haven't seen it, but there is actually a twist in there that was really good. How'd you like? What was your mindset as you were writing it, and did you have specific ways you wanted these characters to be portrayed?
Right, right. And I would like to address the twist right off the bat because I'm not going to go into great detail, of course, like you said, because I want people to watch it and understand. But that one, I get a lot of comments online about how, oh, that wasn't very subtle. Where I was like, I got 10 minutes to tell you this story. Okay, I can't be very subtle with this twist. You're going to see it, and of course, so in the feature, things will be fleshed out better. Of course, you got more time to tell the story, right? But that's always been one of those things. I see those comments, I'm like, I get it, but I also understand. So but the mindset for myself was I was like, I've seen the work that Hunter's done with practical special effects, and I'm always amazed by practical special effects. I love them. I mean, most horror folks really want to see that kind of stuff. In my opinion, I think that's like in their heart. You know, it's like, oh God, that looks terrible, but it's so great. You know, terrible in a good way. You know what I mean?
All right.
And so Hunter showed his chops on a couple of movies. He did a movie called Blood on the Bleachers, and like garnered some awards for his special effects on there. So when I wrote this, my mindset was like, how can I make this a vehicle for Hunter to showcase his his skills and special effects and make the kills worthwhile, make them pop. You know what I mean? So that was my mindset in writing it. It was mostly um, coming up with the ideas for the kills uh, with Hunter and the rest of the team to get them to where they look good for him. So the mindset was like I live. We pretty much filmed this in my backyard. So when you see all that like land up, that's where I live. You know, so I live in a holler in Kentucky, pretty much. I live in this area called Valley View. I live down in the back. So when you see that, like I wrote that, it was nice weather, so I was outside on my deck in the back, and I wrote that, you know, seeing all that foliage and everything, and thinking this is going to be great for, you know, presenting this this piece of art that we want to put out there. And I'm a, you know, Hunter knows this. That most people that know me know this. I'm a martial artist, but I like all kinds of, you know, martial arts movies too. So I was thinking, I was like, well, like what kind of weapon would this guy use? And I was like, man, and I like to, you know, throw tomahawks myself on the occasion, you know. So I was like, well, that would be fantastic. And I was like, what makes it like uniquely Appalachian, Kentucky? And I was like, the word holler came to mind because like if you're from here, you understand, you know that I'm not originally from here, but like I'm from Texas originally, but I've lived here for 20 years, so it's like when I hear a holler, I think, oh, this person's from West Virginia, uh, parts of Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Kentucky, you know, Tennessee, those kind of areas. So I'm like, let's make this uniquely Appalachian, this name. And so it just kind of popped, and Hunter's like, oh, that's a great name. So I was like super excited that he was digging it. So
Uh, so let's kind of go into because I'm a big fan. I agree. 100% practical effects is always a good thing. You know, me personally, for what I've worked on, the only thing I've worked on, it was all practical effects. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
yes,
Fake blood. I just want to add that.
yeah, fake blood.
You know, but there's a very specific practical effect that happens in this movie. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say the person that it happens to, Marley Arnold, uh every time I've spoken to her, she's had a very like positive, like she was excited about that practical effect. So in doing that effect, what was the significance of having it up close? Because most people when you're doing it, they're like, you know, we want to hide as much as we can, but you guys were like right in the thick of it. How doing that, what was your thought process of like having the camera that close?
Well, speaking on Marley, we actually auditioned for that role. A lot of actresses auditioned for that, and the thing we kept coming back to is Marley was able to not only act, but she did the stunt work as well. And her she was the only one that sent like her dying on camera in the audition, which was pretty haunting to be honest.
Yeah,
But
she just straight sent that audition. Like
she killed it.
once we saw hers, it was like, yeah, well, whatever it takes to get her on this movie.
But
Uh,
speaking on the close-ups, I think it was John Carpenter that says people are scared of what they can't see, and your mind kind of fills in the gaps. So at first, we were going to show it close up, the part you're speaking on,
right.
um, but at some point, I was kind of thinking, well, what if we get right on her eyes and show her actively, you know, dying? And she pulled off like this really disturbing death scene, and I think that was better than anything we could have done with like a wide shot.
Totally agree. And how that scene came about was that I had written it a certain kind of way, and I wrote the script. If you look at the script, it's very vague, because I wanted us to be able to have, artistic license to basically kind of manipulate it in such a way. And Hunter was like, "Well, do you think we can make like that's a great kill scene?" Because I had it set up that way. He goes, "But do you think we can make it like more violent?" And that's Hunter for you. And he came up. He basically was like, "Let's do this." And so I wrote it, and he read it and was like, "Oh God." He's like, now we have to do this thing. And that was the big deal, was like finding an actress that could pull that off like we wanted it to be pulled off, like how it was written. Like that's, if you read the script, that is the most detailed written part of the script, is that scene. And so because we wanted that, and then Hunter and Kevin Miner, our cinematographer, just a straight gangster when it comes to that stuff. Those two got together and were like, "Hey, this is how we're gonna shoot it." And I was like, "Oh, absolutely. That's gonna, like, her face, and then Marley doing what Marley does best. You've worked with her, you know her well, and we're just like, we were so happy. When we were all just like speechless after that performance. Like, we kind of mixed it up. Really, if you think about it, the beginning part of that whole sequence, you do see an off-screen part, right? I mean, and that you don't know exactly what happens till you get right up on there, and then you get this visceral kind of moment, which I think if you're doing a short film, this was, and we don't really, it is a short film, but we don't really consider it a short film. We consider it a proof of concept on making bigger a feature. Like we're like, yeah, we're gonna make a feature out of this. We thought, I'll put it this way: I wrote a scene. I kept writing, so I wrote a scene that we were going to kind of use as a teaser trailer. And Hunter's like, "Oh hell no, we're not using it. That's going to be in the feature." And I was like, "So we're going to do a feature." So that's how that kind of came. I was like, "Well, let's do that." So I've been writing that. So.
All right. I would like to also kind of ask you guys a question that I believe I've never asked anybody else. But when you're casting your characters, not only do you want people who are one believable, but you want people that are going to be able to be trustworthy and deliver what you have envisioned. Now, in doing so, are you guys under the belief that it's a 50-50, as long trust is 100% between both filmmaker and actor and actress? Would you guys agree that's accurate to say?
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I would definitely say it's a collaborative effort. So while yes, you have this vision, you're also trusting these actors to read the script and figure out who that character is on their side, because they're the actor. You're not acting,
Right.
so you're trusting them to read the script, find the character, and bring it to life. And at that point, it's kind of out of your hands. You kind of show them where to go.
Right.
Yeah. Uh, so speaking of you guys turning it into a feature, sign me up as being like one of the first ones to watch it. I would definitely love to watch it. Like there are very seldom moments to where movies just in general will move an audience. You got, I mean, everyone, like, prime example, everyone loved Titanic. Okay, almost everyone loved Titanic. I stood in class when Jack died, so
This
you know
man's just in there like,
a
brilliant.
lot of popcorn thrown at me.
Right.
But in making a short, now I've never made a short. As a matter of fact, the first time I've ever made anything was not there. I'm a very adventurous person. Courageous comes to mind too. But in making the short, to me, short films don't like. I don't even like to say the word short film, because to me, everything that is telling a story is a film. You know,
Yeah, I would agree with
and
that.
there are some people out there who their primary, like, property is staying short film. Now, the advantages of working on a short film compared to working on a feature film, is one better than the other, or are they both daunting tasks?
Uh, Hunter has a little more experience with that, but the stuff that I've worked on, um, and I have to give credit first off to Hunter and Dylan Anglin, the Smoky Dog Productions. Like I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for these guys. We kind of have a pseudo silent partner at the moment, but it's a guy named Wes Gift. Fantastic guy. He has a degree in film. He's a professor of literature at Berea College. I mean, so he like is kind of our like top edit guy, like as far as like script and stuff, like make sure everything is good there. And actually, I wrote a, a film with him called Vendetta. That was the first thing that we ever done, and Dylan was gracious enough to direct it because I had no idea what I was doing. And we got Hunter. Hunter actually has a role in that movie, so but it's a mob movie, so the first thing I did was I talked about that. But anyways, so but yeah, I think that process of there, then kind of being loosely working on you know some of Dylan's the Rocky Wake film, which is going to be epic when he gets it done, um, is been very eye opening. I think that it gives you a chance to learn multiple positions and multiple uh, jobs within the process, so that you understand like, okay, we got to do this because the lighting guy needs that, or the sound guy needs this, and it's got to be a certain kind of flow. So I think working everything is kind of a big help. So I think you just need to kind of be humble about it. Like, don't think you're above anything. Like, if I got to go, like, I wrote this thing, I produced. If I got to go get pizza for everybody or whoever, I got to feed the guy, people, the crew. I'm gonna go do what, like, I'll go get whatever you want me to get. Like, I'm not above that. Like, you should never be above the team. And I think that's what makes like our crew that we got. We're just really tight. Like, we're all friends, and like we respect each other. And I think that makes it a cohesive unit. So it's really at this point, if we're working together, it's really no different working on a short film or working on a feature film. It's just a matter of time. Like how much time are you invested in? It's like it's going to take you 20 something days or more to film this one, or we filmed this film. We did uh Tomahawk. We did it in 2 days, pretty much. Yeah, and
Uh,
actually ended up short on the Sunday. So
right. Hunter?
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree with that. It's a little different on my side, on like the special effects side, just because there's a lot of actually creating things months in advance for the film. But I totally agree. The only difference is the time of filming, like whether it's 2 days or 2 weeks. Especially with the crew we have, Dylan Anglin, Kevin Miner. Um, they know what they're there to do, and um, we all pretty much lock in and make a movie.
yeah. And I got one more thing. Hunter and I both come from a military background. I was in the Marine Corps. He's currently in the Air Guard and stuff like that. So like, I think that does kind of help a little bit, but it also, we believe in like op tempo, training tempo. So if you're continually making something, everything else is going to be better. You're continually training your mind and your whole faculties to do this art. And I think that really does help. Like, just stay with it. Don't go so long between making a project. If it's a 5 minute short, or if you're wanting to do like a little the fancy verticals that everybody wants to do nowadays, all that stuff. So I just think that if you're doing something or writing anything, like I may write something and it may not even be like that we're gonna make this thing anytime soon, but like I'm trying to keep my mind sharp and have it writing, you know what I'm
Okay. Speaking of that, so you did kind of mention it earlier that we all have worked with Marley, and so that kind of brings me to the next question of for your feature film, do you plan on bringing back the same cast, or are you looking to kind of broaden the horizon? I mean, obviously you're probably going to have more characters, but like, what is your thought process on that? And have you already reached out to some people to return?
There are some people. There are some people that are on basically that are have been told that you're coming back to be in this film. And I will say this: we had Mia, who is another character in the film, which I don't want to give anything away with that, but like that was her very first film ever. That was her very first role ever. And I know her from the gym that I go to. Fantastic, actress. Now, that she's officially, and her name's Kiersey Rogers. And I'd like to say that I will put this out there that right before that, her like a week before we filmed, her father passed away.
Oh,
So we reached out to her, of course, like you would, and I know her, and she's a personal friend, and I'm like, look, I understand if you don't want to do this, whatever. She's like, no, it's something that I need to do. I've worked on my lines. I want to do this. So she stepped up and played that part with that weight on her shoulders. And our killer, Jordan Fugit, who was a Division I football player. So he's like Hunter will tell you the guy's huge. Okay, like on camera he looks big, but in person he's huge. Okay, he's like the man's like 6'4", 6'5", somewhere in there. Like 235, 40 pounds, just solid muscle. Great, but like the nicest guy you'd ever meet. Like you see this guy, you're like that guy's, but he's just the nicest guy ever. And I actually had him in mind. Hunter knows this story. I told him like I do jujitsu with him, and I'm like 3 years beforehand when I first started writing anything like that. I was like, if I ever do a horror film with anybody, you're my guy. And he's like, well, I'll wait for the phone call. So I gave him a phone. I got him a phone call, and he's like, is this really going down? I'm like, yes, you're my guy. We're putting you in some stuff. You're gonna come out here, and that was his first movie as well.
oh, okay.
So Marley, and that's to add to the accreditation of Marley. She was the most experienced talent on the project, so she kind of helped out with with getting getting that flow as far as the actors go with each other. So they all stepped it up to meet her level of acting.
All right.
So I appreciate her for that as well.
All right.
As on the directing side, like um, all the actors made my life so easy. They all knew their lines. They all knew kind of the blocking we were going for before we even got to set. It was fantastic. Um, Gus Driscoll, I'd
Gus,
worked with him or worked with him on several projects with Smokey Dog before. So when he auditioned, I was like, yes, we have to have him. He's fantastic.
he is very professional.
Jordan, you get. I've told Chris this 1,000 times. I will always work with athletes because they're used to being coached. So getting in the director's chair and kind of being like, hey, I need you to do this, this, and this, and it's like one take and we're good. It's fantastic.
All right.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to switch gears a little bit because knowing you guys had the story, you got the actors and what you guys have delivered, which I haven't properly rated it yet, and I don't know if you guys know my rating system. One being worst, 10 being best. I'll give you a rating before the end of the interview, so it'll be only my third live interview. So rating,
Rating,
but
yeah.
yeah, but there seems to be a thing now going, and it's a very controversial thing, and I think you guys might know where I'm going with this, where it's human versus AI. And a lot of people are like, you have to be on one side or the other. Me personally, I stay out of the social media game. I don't mention nothing about it, just on a simple fact because it's not who I am. You know what I'm saying? We're, like without, and I'm not telling you guys don't have to answer this, but is there a preference you guys have?
I personally do not care for using AI in stuff I make, just because I've worked very hard to get where I am in as a filmmaker, um, and I think allowing a computer to take what I personally could do away from me is, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of the easy way out, but I can also understand how someone could use it as a tool. But as far as that goes, I think if you're using it as a tool and not a crutch, then sure, whatever. It's just personally not for me.
Uh, yeah, I'll just have to echo the same sentiment. It's not really for me. I know some people use it, and I know some people, you know, like I've never used it in writing or anything like that. But I know some people do, and some people use it for. And I won't even use it. As Hunter knows this, we won't even use it in like promotional material for the film, you know, because that takes away from a graphic artist or an actual artist. Like Hunter knows, like for like we were trying to find a way to do the poster for that first film I talked about, Vendetta, and I ended up like just hand drawing this thing, and I'm not the best artist in the world, but it kind of looks okay. Like it looks like a '70s kind of movie poster, uh, but yeah, that's the whole thing. Is it's like somebody created that, they should get paid for that in some way. So AI is kind of, I think AI is just kind of like robs people of certain things. Now, if you have I could understand if you have a small business that's like not necessarily art related or something, like people are using it like crazy to make flyers and other stuff like that. Uh, I kind of get that if you're doing some one off thing, but like if you want like an actual logo or something drawn, I think you're going to get a better product from a person that's going to actually, they're going to care about that thing. AI is just like, you're allowed to get six fingers, and four eyeballs and just not look, So I mean, like, but like Hunter said, yeah, and this is even, I don't listen to that podcast too much, but if you, I listen to if certain people are on like Joe Rogan's podcast, I'll listen, but like, so when he had Matt Damon and Ben Affleck on there, I was like, well, of course I'm going to listen to that. That's something I want to see those two talk about something. You know what I mean? And literally, they both were like, it's a tool. We've used it as a tool to kind of see things, but we're not going to use it to create art. It's not going to be in our movie. It's not going to be it's not going to be the main thing that creates our art.
Oh yeah.
So that's so I agree with that in a way. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's the only time I ever mention AI is like one time and then we're done with it. So
Okay. Yeah. No, but it's pertinent information right now.
oh
And
yeah.
it's super important right now because it's kind of the dawn of AI. It's starting to get bigger, and people are talking about it a lot more.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, just to reiterate that,
And
like people have careers based on art and creating things, and they've worked really hard to get there. So
so yeah,
why would you not?
for examples, Hunter and I, you can see it back here. Hunter and I are both Spawn fans from way back. If you know, I know you probably know that stuff. But
Oh yeah.
well, they every year Todd does like a cover art. Todd McFarlane, the artist for Spawn, he does a cover art competition, and like there was a big controversy last year. I believe it was last year, was it not, Hunter?
Yeah,
Where the AI there was an AI basically entirely created by AI cover that won the thing. And then they had to go back on it because Todd had some. Of course, he's got a lot of irons in the fire. He had somebody else running the contest, and he's like, "Wait, we can't do that because I'm an artist and I understand this." So once he realized, "Wait a minute, I let this go. I wasn't paying enough attention right here." So they pulled it back. But yeah, but an AI cover won you know
Oh yeah.
Spawn. So I'm like, that's just not right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know, I believe in being 100% clear and like just upfront with everybody. So when I first got into it, I didn't know directors. Like I've interviewed people, but I haven't had nobody want to work with me at that time because I was new.
Yeah,
So of
that's
course, the first poster I made, I used AI. You know,
yeah, no, that's understandable.
but then in talking with some of the cast, once I finally started getting a cast and everything, me and Marley got together and she actually made this poster herself. And then she hand drew two of our special edition posters that will be going out when we do, like when we have conventions and stuff like that. But personally, it's, I know when I got into it, it was kind of like a taboo thing. Now it's been busted open and you can get crucified. And I'm like, yeah, we're staying away from that. So,
Yeah, you'll find yourself in a bad way off of the AI situation. So
oh yeah.
just it's kind of like stay away from it.
Oh yeah.
I actually had a very similar situation. Like the poster that we ended up using for Tomahawk Holler, the white one with the mask. Um, that's actually me wearing the mask, and right here actually, and it's just fed through Photoshop. So we didn't have the killer wearing the mask. That's like my little cameo. You can tell by
Yeah,
the
so that you see Hunter's big. You can see Hunter's big old paw there. But yeah, and I actually think the tomahawk is one of mine, wasn't it?
yeah, it's not
Yeah,
even the Tomahawk.
yeah, it's not even the movie Tomahawk, but they did. Yeah, so like in that very beginning, the teaser trailer that we did, that's the tomahawk from that is what it is. That's the one we had at the time. That's my personal throwing tomahawks, which I got them on display on the wall over there now. But
Oh yeah.
I see Hunter's got the mask back there for I got it back right up there too.
Yep.
So Hunter handmade those, by the way.
Oh dang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
still
like to
have
give him credit for that. Yeah, there's the buck.
Dang.
the sculpt.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So yeah, he handmade that mask. So.
Oh yeah. Uh, so let's kind of go into promotion a little bit because I'm not gonna lie, I do see you are both promoting different movies with your shirts, which both are going to be phenomenal. Well, Tomahawk Holler I've already seen, but
Yeah,
Forsaken Few, that's going to be an excellent movie too. Uh, so let's go.
that's kind of planned because I had that shirt as well. So we were just trying to we're trying to make it.
Oh yeah.
I'm
So
supporting that movie as well.
oh yeah. So let's kind of go into promotion a little bit. Like when you were wanting to promote Tomahawk, how did you guys tackle that, and what did you find to be the best way to get it out there?
So it's actually, as you well know, probably John, is that promoting a film that come out of nowhere that has no providence, nothing like that. It's not easy to get people to like watch a random short movie. So I think that like really ours is like, and for a short film, I think right now we're at like on a YouTube channel we're like 25,000 views or 200. How much is it, Hunter?
I
Is it
think
25?
25.
Yeah, 25,000 views. So I meant like, which is crazy for a short film that came out of. But anyways, but I think putting it there and just like constantly bombarding it on social media and putting it on a couple of Reddit pages and stuff like that. Even if after a minute they're like, you can't promote your own stuff, we got to kick you off of here. Okay, but well, there's already been a million people that's seen it. So a percentage of that is gonna watch that thing, and like there's also I think people don't utilize like Facebook groups that are specific around horror. So you join a Facebook group and and you're in a horror community, right? So you're already gonna be in there anyway, posting about like movies you like and stuff, and be like, hey, and if you got basically if you're not just some guy that joined just to do this, you know, if you kind of have been in there and people have seen you post in there, they're like, well, I'll give this guy's film a shot. So I think you organically grow it in that way. Also, your friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your friends will be like, hey, watch this. Or I've had friends that have been like, they've had like little like get togethers at their house and stuff and have been like, hey, we should like around Halloween. That's when the pickup happened. That's when it shot through the moon as far as like. But people were like, "Hey, we're having this little Halloween get together. We should watch my buddy's short film in our slate of like actual films. That are that's like that's what that's kind of what you're thinking. But like that's it. Like you organically grow this. Like I know that the I'll tell you the biggest Tomahawk Holler fan is Hunter's wife, Peyton. Like if I'll put it this way, if I don't like hurry up and get this script done, like and something happens to me, Peyton did it. Okay, I'm just gonna let you. Peyton has done me in. But yeah, so I think organically growing this thing and just kind of like that way, don't like force it on anybody. But like all my friends like supported it, you know, and like you just got to grow that, you know, like you're like those are the people that are going to watch it because you know they're like, hey, and they believe in you, you know. So like those are the people that are going to watch it, and we've had a lot of people that I'm not like super close friends with, but like have met through this industry, and they've all watched it, and it's just been a great experience to see how people that like don't have to watch it, they watch it and then they give you this great feedback, like, oh man, it was great. So it's you find that to be genuine, you know. So you're like, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that and say like having Smoky Dog Entertainment at her back was
Oh, absolutely, big time.
it's just a great conglomerate of filmmakers, like and having people like or bringing new people on like Matthew Smith. We worked with him.
Oh, Matt Smith.
He helped bring
Right.
The one kill scene that we talked about earlier. He helped bring that to life, and
He made the key prop for that.
yeah,
Like so, and it looks great.
yeah.
So.
Finding new people to bring onto the team is super important. And I think the fact that we both had a passion for this film, like right out of the gate, we both knew that we wanted to really put all our eggs in this basket. I think people saw that and it was infectious, and people were like, let's see this thing through. Let's give these guys their
Yeah,
their flowers.
yeah. I think people were like very much like happy to hear about it, but tired of hearing me talk about making this film and like. But then again, everybody's like, well, when are you going to start shooting? Because you know, when's it going to be done? And I'm like, well, this is good. We had a goal and it just we got pushed back because of some weather and some actor scheduling issues, which is commonplace. But we had a goal to try to make this thing into. We have a giant horror festival in Lexington. If you ever heard, it's called Scarefest.
Oh yeah,
And it's like the third biggest horror convention in the country. So like they do a film festival, then we had a goal to try to make it to be able to submit it into that, but we just fell short by like 3 days pretty much. We just didn't have we didn't want to edit something and it not be 100% what we all wanted. And I'll give Dylan Anglin and Hunter credit because they did the vast majority of the editing, pretty much all of it. So
so let's kind of go into. I call this part the part where I praise the guests. So I'm going to praise you guys for a minute.
hey,
You know, I do want to say that.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And this is actually going to lead up to the reveal of the rating I have. So I do want to say that the story overall, I got a complete story, even though it could have been 5 minutes, but the way it was told, the way it was structured, I got an entire story, and that story gave me everything I wanted. It gave me the person I wanted to cheer for, gave me the twist I needed, gave me the violence I needed. So in that aspect, you guys are all stars. Like you guys smashed it out the park. You know, graphic wise, I love the. I just love how everything was kind of. Again, it was put together very well. Trust me, I've seen a lot of movies, and this is one of the better ones I've seen. That I was like, I ain't got no critique that's bad. So,
Well, I appreciate it very much. We both
Thank you, thank you.
oh yeah. I will say my only drawback is I always like my movies to be long. Like I'm stupid. I filmed a 2 hour movie. I'm like, if I don't keep you guys interested, but you guys kept us interested the entire time. And the cherry on the cake for this one is my wife actually sat down and watched it with me. She does not like
Oh,
horror
that's great.
movies, and
Hey, that's good.
and she's like, "I'm even going to rate this one." I was like, "Let me clean out my good ear." What'd you say? But
What was that?
her rating, she gave you guys a 7,
That's great.
Hey,
Appreciate
which,
that.
like, the fact that you said Nightmare Before Christmas earlier, that's her favorite movie of all time.
Great movie.
But yeah, her rating anything that is not Disney over a 5 to me, I'm shocked. So,
Well, we appreciate it.
oh
thank
yeah,
you.
oh yeah. My rating, and this had no significance on the NC-17 award you guys won because I do not determine that. There's a group of people who sit here watch these movies with me, and they determine that.
Right.
My rating, I give you guys a 10. So,
I would appreciate it, man. Thank
you
you.
know, is it definitely worth it?
And like I said, that's kind of the daunting task right now is like we we try to bring it as far as the kills go for that. So now we're like, well, we got to do far more for this feature. So we got some things going on, and Hunter's got a kill count in mind that he wants to beat. So he's going to try to beat this. He's got a number that he wants to surpass. So he's going to try for that. So, and we got some unique ones, and we're going to have some hell or high water. We're going to have some unique props, and yeah. So for this one.
I kind of want to go a little bit off topic here for a moment, and let's just talk about like entertainment as a whole, because a lot of people, we're filmmakers. That's what we love to do, you know. But you got your musicians, you got your artists, you got, anybody who is in some kind of entertainment right now. I think if you're not like if you're in the independent scene, regardless of what you're doing, I think we're thriving. I think Hollywood has taken a step back ever since right before the pandemic. I mean, just my
I
opinion.
would
What are you
agree.
guys'
I would
thoughts
agree
on
with.
that?
I totally agree with that. I mean, you got films like Hunter knows it. He's watched it. I watched it. You got films like Iron Lung just coming out of they consider nowhere, but this guy's got how many followers on YouTube?
Mm.
He has a built-in fan base. I think that's a big deal too. Is how you promote yourself and on social media and stuff like that, and get followers. So I think our film being on Smoky Dog's page, where Dylan has cultivated this following, I think that also helped out quite a bit because obviously his people are like, well, I like what he's doing here, so let me watch this short film. So I think anybody that you would be remiss to be like, I don't need to do, I don't need to be on a YouTube, I don't need to do a podcast, I don't need to do any of this stuff. They'll people just watch it. People aren't just going to watch your movie out of nowhere. Like it's just that, and you know this, and every filmmaker knows this, unless you've got the Hollywood hype machine behind you pushing your film that may not even be that. There's a lot of them. Let's face it. There's a lot of films that just aren't good films, but they get this multi-million-dollar push because this is the films they want you to watch. I would much rather seek out films that like people aren't watching a lot, and then all of a sudden it builds and you're like, oh, you should have been watching that film or
Oh
something
yeah.
like that. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think when Hollywood started considering things like content, I really hate that word content.
Yes.
But when they're just like kind of pushing things out, and I think a really good example was like the staggering difference between the beginning of Game of Thrones and the end of Game of Thrones. It was like it wasn't even the same show anymore. It just kind of felt like they lost the magic that they had.
Absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's something people are wanting to go back to. You can see it with the Terrifier movies. Like that was a really low budget underground film, and now it's like huge now because people want to see things that people care about, not just the Hollywood machine pushing out more stuff. I kind of felt the same way about the latest season of Stranger Things. It kind of felt like
They
we
just
waited so long, and then
there's no payoff.
there's
Really.
no payoff because it felt empty. So
It's like
I don't know.
you're like, y'all just stop writing or what happened there?
Oh yeah.
But he mentioned Terrifier. So as far as like independent like horror films and stuff like that, I think like that's a great like Damien Leone's uh approach and like his formula for getting to Terrifier where it's at is like that needs to be studied by because he that guy because I remember seeing him at Scarefest and stuff. He traveled and had a booth at every horror convention, whether he was gonna sell anything or not. He was selling that movie. He was selling that concept. He was selling that idea to the masses that were there. He was selling it to the fans, right? That's what he did. Instead of having a big YouTube presence, like he went straight grassroots and was like face to face in people and been like, yeah, and he said he knew something. There's a great podcast and Hunter's listened to it. I probably listened to this thing a billion times just because it's so inspirational to my thought process on it. He did a podcast a few years back with Chris Jericho on Jericho's podcast, and Jericho was an early. He met him at a con, and he was like, "Oh, this looks great." So he championed it. But anyways, he talks about basically just going there and like he's like, "I got the people." Like being like a front man of a band and coming out there and getting the crowd in your hand. And that's what he's like. I went to them and he goes, I knew it was hitting because I started seeing like homemade Terrifier shirts and stuff like that. So he's like, I'm not selling this stuff. He goes, I need to be selling this stuff. But but he's like, when people are doing that, they're going out of their way. And horror fans, let's face it, if you've been to a horror convention, you've interacted with actual horror fans that are big time fans. Like, and Hunter and I are both in the comics, right? I got a crap ton of them back here. You go to a comic book convention and it's a totally different vibe, right? A lot of those people are kind of a bit pretentious and more I'm a highbrow, but you go to a horror convention, there's like salt of the earth people, man. They're just like, let's hang out. What are you doing? Like they're just wanting to get all bloody and it's like it's having a good time. So I just think it's a totally different vibe. I think for people to say that like horror is not a legitimate, because like you hear that sometimes, right? You hear that argument. Horror is not a legitimate form of film media. It's just a thing that you do to make money so you can make these other films. I don't believe that. I think that if you are telling a good story, whether it be a gangster flick, a horror flick, a western, it's it's got to be a good story to begin with. The bones have to be there. Then you got to get a good. Then you have to get a good crew to put it together. So you got to bring a guy in like Hunter. You got to bring a guy in like Dylan, like in our circumstance, right? Or you got people you want to bring in. You bring in Marley, people like that. Like it won't be long before Marley's going to be like, "Oh, I used to know those guys." Now she'll never do that. She'll never actually do that. But I like to give her a hard time. But I'm like, I could totally see her being way bigger than what she is right now. She's so talented. And that's what I'm saying is you just got to get that opportunity to put somebody out front like that.
Oh yeah.
Like, and if they come out of the independent and make it super big, then so be it. Like you can't crap on that come up. It's just not the way you do things. And Hunter will say the same thing. And you probably know this. Like the vast majority of the independent film community are very supportive of each other because they know how hard it is. It's like anything. Like you come up from the bottom to make these things, and you get somewhere. Then like I tell him like that's why we cast the way we do. I tell Hunter, I always joke about it. I was like I'm on the Adam Sandler method over here, right? Like I just want to do movies with my friends. Like like some of his movies or whatever, but like they're just goofy, but like he's having fun. He's making movies with his friends every time. It's like you see a lot of the same people in this movie because he likes those people. And I told Hunter like when we cast Gus as Brody, I told him I was like, I got one caveat for this guy, this character. Like I wrote him as a like kind of frat boy d bag type guy. You know what I mean? But I was like, but I really don't want that actual guy on set. Like I can't. I don't want to deal with that. So I was like, Gus is the guy. It's like because he could play that part, but he's not that guy. So that's what I'm saying. Is you just want to work with. I just want to work with good people.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you could tell. And Hunter always talks about how like I'm good at like he says it's like I'm good at like making people believe in the project, and he's told me this, and I greatly appreciate that because I believe in the pro. I'm passionate about it. He's passionate about it. I was like, you want to be in part of this? Well, let's do this thing. Let's make it happen.
We'll
Oh
find
yeah.
the spot for
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go.
I
So
feel like when the second it stops being fun, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. So,
Absolutely. If it's a job, it's not. It should never be a job.
yeah.
oh yeah. So I kind of do want to talk about, let's talk about the different varieties of horror because, you guys, Tomahawk is obviously a slasher.
Right.
You know, uh, my movie Supernatural Slasher, which
Yeah.
most people are like, how can you have the two together? Somehow we made it work, but still,
It can happen.
oh yeah. But there comes a moment where sometimes a certain subgenre of any, whether it be comedy, horror, drama, whatever, it gets saturated with the same things that now we as filmmakers are trying to find a way to make ourselves different from what we have seen. Like, you know, let's take Tomahawk for a moment. You said earlier you drew references from like Friday the 13th and stuff like that. That's awesome. But when I was watching it, and it stands to be a compliment, and I hope you guys take it that way.
Right. No,
The first thing that popped in my head was hikers. Okay, I did pick up a little bit of Friday the 13th, but then as the story kind of progressed, I was like, this is not Friday the 13th. This is its own thing because you have you don't have cliche characters that you would normally have. You have
right.
characters who are more sophisticated, and you guys deliver along the way with the way you told the story and how the cast told the story. You guys delivered something I think stands to be, especially when you guys make the feature, maybe one of the next iconic villains because your character, your killer, is literally its own thing, and that is. I hope you guys take that as a compliment because that's what it was
Oh,
meant to be.
no, absolutely. And I will give the majority of the credit for that to Hunter. I wrote him a certain kind of way, like I wanted him to be, but again, like I said, we just work really well together, like off of each other. Like none of us are prideful. Like I don't think that he's going to take something that I write and just completely screw it up. It's like, and like so, but
You might get that.
it's like so. But I mean, I'm a straight shooter when it comes to that stuff. It's like, man, that guy might mess up my whole thing. I don't know, but I think as a writer, like in how I wrote it, so I put it this. I always tell people like when I was a kid, like I read a bunch of like those choose your own adventure books.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you remember. It's like you get to a part in the story and it's like you got three things. Like, I can go over here, and there's a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons versions of that. And I read all that stuff as a kid. Just read a lot. So I was like, well, we could go here. So I will give Hunter options a lot of times. I'm like, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think about that? So that was what was with the killer. He was like, well, I want the mask to look like that, and then like he had this certain kind of way, and then we're like, well, what about if one of the eye holes is a knot hole and this? So we kind of like, but it's majority it's him. But like but we all have a little piece in it. It's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
it's like film stew, if you will, or like. So I think, and he designed that entire like he that costume he made every bit of it, every bit except for he didn't cobble the boots together, but but like outside, which I ain't saying he can't. I've seen this guy do some crazy stuff, so I don't know if he's going to be a shoe cobbler at any time. But he put all that together, right? Like aged every bit of that, roughed it all up, made it look good. Um, and I think when you're talking about mixing genres, within horror, within its own stuff, I think that what we were kind of going for too is that like, and it didn't get to show a lot because of the length of the film that we're trying to keep it at. That there's going to be a bit of a folk horror aspect to this film, you know. But like he has, there's some reason that he's out here doing this stuff,
Oh,
and I don't want to give anything away, but we got some ideas behind that. So so, but I think that's the deal with it. And Hunter, I just think having a good partner in this is paramount. Like if you're trying to do this, like if I was to do this by myself, that character could have looked entirely different. Like entirely different. But this, and to his credit, this is the first movie that Hunter's ever directed on his own, and a lot of people don't know that because he's pretty humble and he don't just be like you know. But the guy knows he's a student of horror, as am I. But this guy's like next level when it comes to it. So, and I think too, like he wanted a little aspect of uh maybe like, and I really love that film. People think some people think it's boring. I've heard this a billion times, but like in a violent nature,
mm-hmm.
like I love the fact, like, oh, he's just walking around. I was like, man, they're building suspense, man. Like,
Oh yeah.
like, so I think some of those parts of him walking around, but then I like the one scene where he's like walking and he's like, ah, but he's smarter, so he knows where everything's at there. So he like takes a shortcut to cut somebody off. So I
Oh,
think that those aspects, Hunter adding those and just building that character, and he'll tell you basically how the steps were in building it. But I'll give him all the credit in the world for like making that an iconic character. And I think that mask is different. I think the whole presence is different. So I agree with
uh,
I mean, when we set out to make a slasher, I mean, you got your slasher tropes you got to hit to make your normal slasher, and I feel like we went against the grain on that. Like we kind of set it up that way, but then we kind of went our own way and made it feel familiar, but we wanted to do our own thing with it, and that's why spoiler alert if you haven't seen the film, but the final girl is the villain, and
you. Yeah.
it doesn't have a happy ending. The final girl ends up being the villain, and I feel like that kind of helps bring the genre back to its roots. Not saying that we're doing that. I just am saying that I think we would try to emulate that for future films. So and to kind of break the monotony of how slashers have been for, how many times have you seen, you know, Stalker in the Woods chasing down camp counselors? I mean, not knocking that. It's amazing for what it is, but at some point you got to do something different. And as far as the design for the killer, I kind of told Chris this. I imagined something that I would go into Walmart and see an action figure of on the shelf and be like, I want to buy that. That looks cool. I want that on my shelf. So yeah,
As long as it was made by McFarlane Toys, right?
yeah.
And not Mattel. So hard, right?
But like I wanted something that I personally would think is cool, and I tried to imagine what a person living out in the woods by himself would look like. I mean, he'd have tattered clothes. If he's wanting to cover his face, what would he use? He'd probably, I mean, he's in the woods, so he's got all this access to wood. So maybe carve up a creepy mask, and like the devil horns being like branches broken off. I thought was like, could have been a happy coincidence that he happened to pick that piece of wood. So I don't know. I just wanted something I thought was cool, and what Chris thought was cool, and I think we achieved it uh, just by a happy accident.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like the best way to do it, right? Is like, like just play it out and see how it goes. You know what I mean? Like, I think some people overthink it a lot of times.
oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
that's not, that's not saying that again. That like I never think that we're better than anybody to do anything, but I think that like sometimes and I'm guilty of it too. Like I'll overwrite God. Sometimes I'm like, I stop, go back, cut out, like a quarter of this crap, this fluff, and get it. Because Hunter read some of my earlier stuff, because the first film, the first with the Vendetta was like it started out as a graphic novel, so like as a comic book basically, and it's written like a comic book. It's like all this kind of flash. So I'll do that. So he's kind of there else also to be like, let's strip this down a bit, but also like we've got a kill list going right now for this feature, and it's like and like there'll be some random ones, and I'll get this idea, and I'm like, and I'll send it to Hunter immediately, and he's like, "Oh God, that sounds terrible, but in a good way." It's like, so like we had a little meeting the other day. We kind of got together and we talked some stuff over, and we came up with like a couple of more good ones. I'm just like, God, this is gonna be like I can't wait. Like I can't wait to see this play out. And we've got some other actors and characters that we're gonna bring in. There'll be some auditions, so if there's anybody out there, just look forward to having some auditions come out for some cool roles, and we're not above like using the old trick of trying to get a a decent sized horror like star to do a cameo. We may try to play that little game in here, and it don't get me wrong. There's some parts written that would caveat into that. So, but I just think that man, like make the film you want to make. You know what I mean? Like don't make people. I think people get too into, and I've seen producers like online have these like coaching YouTubes or something. They'll pop up in my feed because I'm watching filmmakers and stuff, and they'll be like, you don't, and they'll say the exact opposite. They're like, don't make the movie you want to make the movie that people want to watch. And I'm like, okay, maybe if but like I get that, like 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 Kevin Smith said about making Jersey Girl when he's like, so sometime when your buddy's a big star and he wants you to and he does your movie for like no money, you got to do a film like Jersey Girl. But we're not at that point in our life right now, so I and Hunter and everybody involved are gonna make the film that we want to make, and and we're gonna hope that everybody likes it. I mean, in this, if it's so we're and I think here soon we're gonna start doing basically that formula that I talked about, trying to go to some horror conventions. I think you guys just went to one, right? Did you guys just go to a? Weren't you guys?
Yeah, we went to the Michigan Horror and Oddities Fest.
Okay, yeah.
It was cool. Lot of fans, but I mean, it was our biggest convention, so I can't really. I'm not going to complain.
No, I got you. Yeah, I mean, because you end up, you end up spending X amount of money on a booth or somebody. If you're nice, if you know somebody, they can probably get you a spot. And I know we put in for some horror film festivals that are tied in with horror conventions, so we can double duty. There's a couple in Knoxville and stuff like that, but just close to us and things like that, because like you're trying to, both of us still work for a living. You know what I mean? So like most people, this is this is a hobby till it's not.
Oh yeah.
That's just how I feel about it. So I think you got to have that kind of mindset as far as doing it, and I would think Hunter agrees. Like, we're just gonna keep grinding away at this until maybe one day we can like do this all the time.
Oh yeah.
So that's the goal, right?
Oh yeah. So let's go to specifically the story of Tomahawk Holler. In your own words, what would you say was the best part, if you have a best part, or your least favorite part of the whole process, if you have one?
Hunter, answer this one right off.
I would definitely say filming it in August was probably not the smartest thing, especially for Jordan wearing 3 layers of clothes and a mask. I still feel bad about that.
But I will say this. The behind the scenes photos of Jordan shirtless got the horror girls excited a little bit. So there was a lot. Hunter knows it. His post got how many more likes and views than anybody. So so it's like it was ridiculous. So I will say that much. So if you want to sell a film to the horror girls, have some behind the scene photos of your killer with the mask shirtless. That's all I'm telling you. Especially when he's an absolute, unit of a fella.
Yeah, I would definitely say the August heat, especially.
God, it was hot.
And Marley.
I felt bad for Marley.
She's such a trooper, man. I'll sing her praises till the end of time.
Yeah, Hunter will tell you, like, she when we cast her, right? She's like, "Oh, I'll drive down there and sleep in my car." I was like, "I'm not gonna let you sleep in your car." Like we got, how she is. She just wants to do it, and it wants to work. And we're like, we got you a hotel room. You got per diem. You're good. Just be down here.
Yeah.
So we took.
And then the big scene that we were talking about earlier, she was like laying on the ground for multiple hours, just caked in this just sticky gore.
Bugs out there.
Yeah, bugs everywhere.
I don't know if people know this, but bugs love fake blood. The people that ain't never had to deal with it, they do love it. So yeah, but yeah, I agree. It's that was probably I would agree that as well. Like, I mean, you got to be in the summer. And the wild thing is like the weekend before that, it was not as bad. It was kind of a little. It wouldn't have been. But I will say this though, we have the one shot in there, the one scene in there that's that's obviously a drone shot, and everybody loves that thing too. That's like one of the ones that everybody like, oh, that's cool. And it kind of shows the isolation really that they're at this point. But I think if we'd have filmed that the weekend before when we were originally supposed to film it, it wouldn't have been as good because I think there was a bit more cloud cover, So it being clear and sunny, that was the time to shoot that particular shot. So we got that great. And rip to the drone. The drone didn't make it. That was the end of the drone's life. It clipped a tree and it was done. So, but yeah. So I think my favorite part of the process, really, too, on that end of it was like really just like, because it was kind of cool because, like I said, we literally filmed it in my backyard, so everybody was like hanging out at the house. So it was kind of like a party, but we were doing cool, like super cool stuff, making a movie, So like everybody got to hang out at the house, and everybody was in there, like, I got some cats, so everybody was in there like petting on the cats, and we we just had a nice place because sometimes if you're filming a place, you don't have a great place to just like chill out and kind of collect yourself in between scenes, So when we would take a break, we were able to kind of collect ourselves, and I think that kind of helped to recharge the batteries and go back out there. And I think it showed in the film as well because you were able to just kind of like bring it again. You get a little recharge, like go out, get some water, Gatorade, whatever you need, and kind of get back out there.
The community on this film was like nothing I've ever seen. It was so cool.
It
was legitimately like hanging out with a bunch of your friends.
Yeah, it was great. Like nobody complained. Like there was no like. Everybody was just happy. It was like if I could have a job that I went and did that every day and everybody was happy to be there, it'd be great.
Oh yeah.
So that's how it felt. I think so that was the best part. And again, like Hunter said, the heat was it gets pretty hot in Kentucky. So I think it was like 90, it was like 94 or 5, something like that. It was pretty hot. So poor Marley, she was in here just like, I know she was dying because she had to run around and stuff, It's like,
oh yeah,
yeah. So
I think my favorite part of the whole process was the first time we saw Jordan in wardrobe.
Oh, absolutely!
Like we walked down the tree line and we're like,
yeah, because nobody had seen him in it. Like he went out there before everybody, and so it was kind of like a reveal for us. So when he popped out of there, and he's just so big, like a big dude, like you're like, man, I don't want any part of whatever's going on there. Like, this guy's got like tomahawks and nah, this isn't good. Like you instantly see this guy, and but you like suspend reality a little bit, think about it. You're like, nah, I'm out of here, and you're not gonna make it very far.
Yeah.
So
Uh, we're coming near the end of the show. I just want a couple more questions, but I do want to say that the hustle and bustle of making a film, I don't think unless you're actually doing it, no one will understand it.
they
Like
don't.
for not there, we filmed a 2 hour movie in 8 days on a budget of $800.
Wow,
And
that's
everyone
getting
will
it.
testify to that. So,
That is getting it.
oh yeah, but that goes to what you guys were saying earlier. The trust and faith you have in your cast and your crew. Like for like you guys, I know we've mentioned Marley quite a bit, but because she's a common denominator between
Right,
you,
right, right.
you know, but there that woman does a lot.
Yes.
you know like for not there, she was one of the main actresses. She was the head of our makeup department. She was assistant stunt coordinator. I'm like, you know and at one point, she like, working together with people you trust, like you guys said, is the best thing you could do. you know but I would be amiss to say that it sometimes does have its drawbacks, because you guys, as a writer and a director, I mean, like, if you're writing so much or directing, a specific scene, and you have to do so many different takes, sometimes it can be a daunting task on just yourself and your mental a little bit. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that entirely. Like I said, Hunter having, you know, basically blocked this whole thing up, and it's like writing it, and like again, so for me, this one writing it wasn't as bad because like again, the script was basically a template in this way. But I did have an idea. I think there was like maybe I think maybe like one I don't even remember what it was. There's like one thing where I was like, well, but this is before we even got out there. But it was like this has to kind of be this way for it to come across right. And I think Hunter was like, yeah, I agree. But it was more of a compromise between us. It's like yeah, like that this scene needs to be that way. And but I agree. Like you gotta trust you know to let it go a little bit. And I think that's hard to do sometimes when it's your thing, right? But like I said, I totally trust the guy to make a good product. I've seen what they've done before, so
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that. But it is hard, and like especially like we hadn't worked with Marley before, but like her audition, we knew she was going to bring it, so she was real easy to like for Hunter to direct. I would think, you know, like you kind of gave her your ideas of what you needed to do, and she's like, "I'm gonna do this."
Yeah, and actually, before we had brought her on set, I didn't know she did all that. Like, I thought she was strictly just an actress.
Yeah, she undersold herself.
Yeah, and we got on set, and she was, we were talking between takes, and she was telling me about how she was like a stunt coordinator, and then a bunch of other roles that she fills, and she wanted to do these stunts, and I was like, I feel like I probably shouldn't bring this person all the way down to Kentucky and have her potentially get hurt. But I mean, she wanted to do it, so we let her off
And I
the
think
leash a little bit, and then
and there's like only really one part that she used a crash pad.
yeah,
Everything else like it was pretty much that final scene part. Was it not? Was it there where she used it?
it didn't make it into the movie.
Yeah, but she that was I'm saying it didn't make it in the
Yeah,
movie, but everything else was her like falling on like River Rock in Kentucky and out in the field in the middle of nowhere. Uh, the other thing that people don't talk about is like if you want a scream queen, Marley can knock that out of the park. If you've heard her let it go, that's it. My neighbors over here, like I told them beforehand, I got some neighbors pretty close by, and I told them beforehand, I'm like, we're gonna be filming a movie, and they know I do this stuff. They're really cool with it, and I'm like, you're gonna hear some people screaming over there, and it's a horror film and whatever. And so afterwards, like like, I thought you really killed somebody out there. Like, and then when we finally released it, they actually watched it, and they're a little older. They're probably in their 60s or whatever, and they're like my neighbor Nick. He was like he told his wife Sue, he's like, I told Sue, I was like, there might be something wrong with Chris. I was like, well, thank you very much. You know, it's like, 'cause I wanted that to portray. I told Hunter that he thought that was hilarious. But yeah, so like her coming in there, and like I said, in Kiersey, um, like she's gonna have an expanded role, obviously in the feature. But that's not giving anything away. It's just, if you watch this, you know that she's gonna be a thing in there for, and so she's working hard on it, and I think Hunter's got another project that's pseudo horror like that he's going to use her in, and so she's kind of trying to get that lined out too, for that filming, uh, and of course Jordan, he's ready to go. So all those people like doing that stuff, it just make your job easier, you know. So that's just what I think about it.
All right. All right. So one last question, and then I'll let you guys plug your socials and everything like that. So this is a question that you may or may not have been asked. What is the future of Tomahawk Holler? Is it just one feature, or do you guys plan on expanding, or do you want to keep that on the down low for now?
So I'll tell you what I told Chris a few weeks ago. I feel like the magic number with horror franchises is you either do one or you do three. So
I agree with that.
I feel like Tomahawk Holler is going to make a really great feature film, and if we so decide, we'll have a beginning, a middle, and then an end, and we'll see where it goes. We'll see, but I really, and I think Chris will agree with me. We want to concentrate on making one really good film, and with absolutely no aspirations of making sequels in the future. Just concentrate on one film.
Right. And I will say this is like Hunter. We did talk about that, like, yeah, three's the one, and like, so I I am super concentrated on making this one, but I can't lie that like some ideas for further along story as you know, crept in here and there, and I'm like, get back, say away, I got to write this. Don't, you know? So, but I will say that I've not even shared some of it with Hunter yet, but I've got some notes. Hunter knows that I like my phone. If I get something in my head, I'm instantly like, I have to be like, write
Oh
that
yeah.
note. And I probably got 8 billion notes on my little note app on my phone, so it's like, I just, yeah, because like I'm at work or something, you know, and I'm like, I just got to
Oh
take a
yeah.
minute while I'm checking these systems. I'm like, okay, and then so I go back to it. And I'm like, oh yeah, like that's for something. That's for something else. So, but I will say that like right now, my focus is entirely on like getting this script done, and making it. And Hunter could tell in the conversation I had is like, I want it to be as like perfect as possible, you know. For
Oh yeah.
and so like using that is quite a bit of motivation to finish it, and but is also like I'm not concentrated on writing any other short films or anything right now until that script is complete, and
Oh yeah.
I think it's probably going to come in at, you know, between 90 and 105 pages or something like that, and nothing crazy, but still that's a lot of people that have never written anything like that. That's a lot to do, as you know. It's like writing that and making it all cohesive is like, oof. It's because you're like, write this, and you're like, man, I've written myself into a hole over here or something. You know, like, this is not good. I got to come out of this. So
Oh yeah.
so that's how I feel about it. But yeah, Hunter's right. We would we're not gonna lie, if we're not thinking like a little bit about the future of it. We'll have to see how this goes. Of course, we'll have to, like anything, we'll have to work getting some financing towards this, you know, and when it comes to it, and see how it goes. And we've we won a couple of awards,
we've also kind of talked about the possibility of like merchandising in the future to
Yeah, that's true. Hunter's been working on
help
that.
pay for things to make the movie. So we're
Yeah.
considering all options to kind of make this happen.
So I'll just go ahead and say this, that they're not completely ready, but I'll say it. The very talented Matt Smith and Hunter, that they're working on maybe making some collectibles that a person that likes this film may be interested in obtaining. So
Yeah.
there's that, and we're gonna do some not exactly this, but like some more detailed T-shirts, stuff like that. Just kind of market it in that way. That way, I feel as though you get a better deal if somebody feels as though they get something for their money. Instead of just
Oh
being
yeah.
like, "Hey, can you help me out, buddy?"
Oh yeah.
like. But I think if you get a T-shirt, a hat, or action figure, a like a one-off comic book, or anything like that, like it's going to cost you a little money, but you're going to still make money off of it. But it's
Oh
all going
yeah.
to go towards your project, right?
Yeah.
And now with the way Indiegogo is now, oh God, that could be a whole other podcast, but we won't go into that. But
Yeah.
so our we're going to have to start thinking outside of the box as independent filmmakers to really finance these things. But
Uh,
this movie we financed out of our own pocket, but we did recoup that money and have a little nest egg for the future feature in Indiegogo. We got like the last Indiegogo before one of the last ones before it went far right somewhere.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So before I do want to, before we get to let you guys plug your socials and everything, I want to kind of piggyback off of some of what you guys said. So writing a script, definitely you can get yourself very deep. The original script for Not There was 482 pages,
Wow, that's a
and
lot.
we cut it all the way down to 120 pages.
Dude,
Wow.
that's a monumental task.
And
That's a
we
job in its own right.
oh yeah,
God, I couldn't
and
even imagine.
as us as filmmakers, we kind of, these are our babies. These are what we want
Right.
to be successful and everything. So of course, nitpicking what needed to be there and what didn't need to be there, we had to create a story. Your guys' Tomahawk Holler, which phenomenal, by the way. I'll say it is a rating 10 for me, 10 out of 10. The way you contrast a story from script to like actual seeing it on footage, again, I'll just say it, they, unless you're doing it, that no one will know, you
They
know
don't have a clue.
and to kind of go off of Hunter, you being the first, not, well, this being your solo directorial debut, unless you're doing that, again, that's a different beast on its own, because yeah, you've seen it written, you've read the story, you know who's going to be playing these roles, but now as a director, it is up to you to kind of make it all come together, you know. And I will say my hats off to both you guys. You guys did phenomenal. And I just want to tell you a little bit. Marley speaks very highly of you guys.
We
She speaks
appreciate that.
she speaks very highly of Tomahawk Holler. Like in our first conversation when she auditioned for Not There, she's like, "Have you ever seen Tomahawk Holler?" I was like, "I'm gonna be honest, no, I haven't." And then when she told me about it, I went and watched it. I'm not going to tell you how many times I watched it, about 15, but still, you know.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you pumping them numbers up.
Yeah.
But
Thank you, man.
the thing is unless you're doing it, no one will know. You
Right.
know. And I just want to say, as a first time director, first time writer, first time anything in this field, it's because of people like you that I continue to do what I do. So I appreciate you guys for doing what you do, because you guys are paving the way for people like me. So thank you.
Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Because like I told Hunter, is like because of him and Wes and Dylan, those guys, like believing in me and them having already done these things, I'm like, well, yeah, this can be done. And I was, I've always been a, pretty much a mechanic my entire life on some mostly military equipment and stuff like that. And everybody's like, "You write?" I'm like, "I've always written. I've just never like shared it with anybody." It's like, it's a whole big thing. And like I was telling Hunter, uh, it really took its own thing because like I went and worked in Antarctica for 6 months basically, and like there's not a lot to do in Antarctica. Come to find out, it's a beautiful place, but Hunter was like, "You're going where?" Yeah, it's like, but this was before that, so I got to write a bunch of stuff. So the Vendetta movie came out of that.
Okay.
It came out of that. So I started. That's the first thing I was like. I was talking to Hunter and Wes, and I was like, "I've written this thing. I would really like an honest opinion." And it was very like, and this is a 40 5-year-old man at the time. It's like I was like scared to death, like it was like a first date or like prom or something. It's like I'm showing you this thing that I've created, and I'm like, they're gonna hate it, and they're my friends. Yes, I get that, but they'll be like, this is terrible, this is crap. But it wasn't like that. But they also gave me constructive criticism about
Uh-huh.
this and that, and Wes is very good at that. If you ever need a guy to edit your stuff, holler at Wesley Gift. That's your guy. But he, but they basically we worked with each other, and they're like, you can do this, So it's good to have people like, and I try to stay positive about it. I don't want to like pop anybody out of the industry because I'm like, oh, you can't do that. That's not what you're gonna do. I was like, this is not maybe what you're doing is not not the genre or anything like that I want to do, but here's somebody that does do that, and so it's like there's a whole place for this type of film. This is you can give them some insight into that, like, and try to be constructive towards each other. Don't tear each other down. It's not productive. It doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do them any good. But there's and this, there's some filmmakers that are just like, oh, I'm the best, and you might well be the best, but like, hey, you're up here, like help everybody else. They always talk about a rising tide raises all ships. That's a quote I live by. And that's what I've told Hunter and all of them, that like this is how I feel when I work with you guys. Like you guys raise my level of creatism up. Like and I hope that I do the same with you guys. And anybody that I talk to and work with. I just want to be positive about this industry. I think there's a lot of negative in here, and you don't have to be that way.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I, I definitely like you as a prop and special effects artist. Like I have the people I looked up to, like my heroes. Like you got Tom Savini, Rick Baker, and Christopher Nelson, and they have this lineage that they've set before, and you kind of want to continue that and like pay respect to that, and that's a huge, really important thing to me. Just trying to continue that legacy of special effects. And then as a director, first time director, I have to give credit to learning from Dylan Anglin more than anything. I study him on set whenever we're doing something, um, and then working with other directors like Chase Dudley and
Chase, yeah.
Miner, Elliot Taylor.
Elliot's
Just
good.
watching how they handle a set and how they do it, and always taking mental notes on how these people who have succeeded in this role, what I can take back with me to make me as good of a director as they are.
Oh, yeah.
Still working on it, but
And I
we're getting there.
and Josh, I will give you one recommendation for a short film to watch that we all worked on that you may like as well. It's called Sardonic.
Sardonic.
Yeah,
I will look that up.
Dylan directed it, and we all had a part in it in our own way. Hunter did the effects for it and stuff like that, and we kind of had a writing room scenario on that one, which was great for brainstorming, and so yeah, we did it's kind of a psychological type of horror, but definitely one to watch.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna look that up and I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Send us a message about it. It's
Oh, I
on
will.
it's on the same YouTube channel that that Tomahawk is on.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to kind of give you guys a couple moments to plug your socials where people can or cannot reach out to you. That's entirely up to you. Plug where they can watch your films and kind of just keep track of what you guys have in store, because you guys first and foremost have a very bright future, and I am a fan first and foremost, and I'm a fan of you guys. So go ahead and plug your socials.
So my the Instagram's a little odd because, like I said, I'm a jujitsu guy. So like my it's Nogi Groundhog. So they do Nogi Jiu-Jitsu 10P with two G's. So that's my Instagram. And it's Chris Langford on Facebook. You can find me on there. Um, and we really don't have a YouTube. We used to do a podcast for comic books, but we've been so busy we haven't had a chance to do it in a while. So, but we need to kind of do something with that. But I'll let Hunter get his stuff in.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us. First off, like
Absolutely, yes.
this is
Thank you very
super
much.
cool. We definitely appreciate it. My Instagram handle is the Hunting Party. The U is a V, and then I'm Hunter Groves on Facebook. And then we have a Tomahawk Holler YouTube channel, but Tomahawk Holler, the short film, is on the Smoky Dog channel. So, um,
You also have your prop Instagram.
oh yeah, and I have my prop Instagram that I've been neglecting lately, but it is Hunting Party FX. So that's pretty much where you can find me.
I think here soon, Josh, we'll have a as we gear up to do the feature, we'll have a Tomahawk Holler Instagram and stuff like that as well. So
Well, when you guys get ready to do your feature, or when you guys are done with your feature, I always tell everybody, once you've been on NC-17, you have a home with us. You
yes,
guys are
sir.
more than welcome to come on, and we'll talk and we'll promote. We're going to promote no matter what, because I believe this YouTube channel is for you guys, for all the people out there who want to be seen. If we can help you, we're going to help you be seen. So,
Absolutely. We appreciate you having us on and letting us kind of chat it up a bit, you know.
uh, hey, this is how we get to know each other, and this is how the audience gets to know us behind the scenes on a more personal level. And I'm a big believer on, if people like you for who you are, then they're going to be more invested in what you do.
I agree. I
So,
agree with that entirely. Yes, sir.
yeah. Uh, but I will say thank you guys for coming on. It has been phenomenal. You guys have been rock stars, all stars, every kind of star except for a falling star. My wife says I should say some stuff like that, so I just incorporated it.
Oh yeah, she's right. I like it. It's that's good.
you know, so I do want to end this episode on saying and giving a little nod to a certain scene in your guys' movie. Get yourselves out there. Don't be afraid, and just have a little backbone.
That's true. Yes, that's it. That's it.
All right, everybody. Till next time. Stay NC-17.
Man.